Looks like India and China are becoming even better friends now. I wonder how BRICS is going to work out. Well, I know, but I'll break it to y'all slowly over a couple months.
Indian diplomats are known for their carefully worded statements, for being diplomatic, especially when it comes to China. Throughout the ongoing border standoff, India has exercised caution. It chose to settle differences quietly through diplomatic engagements. But this week, there was a major shift in India's tone. There was what we call a war of words. It began in Sri Lanka. The Chinese ambassador to Colombo provoked India. This is about the Yuan Wong 5, the Chinese ship that recently docked at Sri Lanka's Hambantota port. There are serious security concerns about the ship. It has been linked to the Chinese military. Apparently, it has the ability to snoop on key Indian installations. So India expressed strong objections. Sri Lanka refused to let the ship dock at Hambantota. China built more pressure. Sri Lanka relented. Within days, the ship was allowed to come. But it did not conduct any research activities in Sri Lanka. And that should have been the end of the story for the moment. But China was not done. Their ambassador, Chi Zhen-hong, wrote an article for a leading Sri Lankan daily. And this article did not mention India, but the reference to India was quite clear. Allow me to quote from what he said. This is from the Sri Lankan ambassador. In the middle of this month, with China and Sri Lanka having altogether resisted the rude and unreasonable interference from third parties, the Chinese scientific research Yuan Wong 5 has successfully docked at the Hambantota port for replenishment after receiving the latest approval from the Sri Lankan government. Note what he says. The rude and unreasonable interference from third parties. This is a clear reference to India. The Chinese are talking about India here. They also compared the docking of the ship to the situation in Taiwan, which makes no sense whatsoever. How are the two issues related at all? The Indian mission in Colombo decided to respond, and it slammed the Chinese ambassador. India said he has violated quote-unquote basic diplomatic etiquette with this article. Allow me to quote from the Indian statement.
These are quotes.
His view of Sri Lanka's northern neighbor may be colored by how his own country behaves. India, we assure him, is very different. His imputing a geopolitical context to the visit of a purported scientific research vessel is a giveaway. The statement ends with a veiled attack on Chinese debt traps, and I'm quoting further, opaqueness and debt-driven agendas are now a major challenge, especially for smaller nations. Recent developments are a caution. Very interesting. What about that comparison with Taiwan? The Indian statement weighed in on that too. It accused Beijing of militarizing the Taiwan Straits. And this, I must say, has happened for the first time. Never before has India spoken so candidly about the situation in Taiwan. The choice of words is significant. Again, look carefully. The Post says, militarization of Taiwan Straits. In a way, New Delhi is holding China responsible for the growing tensions in the region, and China will not like this one bit. And this is becoming a bit of a trend. China has been unhappy about some recent Indian statements. A couple of weeks back, the Chinese embassy in India released a statement, and they had basically made a demand from New Delhi. This is what it said, the Chinese in Delhi. We hope that the Indian side could openly reiterate its One China policy like many other countries. The One China principle is the political foundation of the China-India relations. Let me decipher that for you. The Chinese side wanted India to reaffirm commitment to the One China policy. And yes, India has followed this One China policy since the year 1949. And why do the Chinese want a reassurance? Because India no longer uses that term, One China, in its statements. And this is not a recent change. New Delhi has not mentioned One China in its official statement since the year 2010. That's more than a decade. Listen to how India reacted to the Chinese embassy's remarks this time.
We urge the exercise of restraint, avoidance of unilateral actions to change the status quo, de-escalation of tensions, and efforts to maintain peace and stability in the region.
Well, even if you don't like WION news reporting, these were direct quotes from their ambassadors, and there was the ambassador on TV. So unless you don't believe the ambassadors and you think the ambassadors are lying just for WION TV, I think they're doing pretty good. on their reporting. And I don't just rely on Wyon TV. I'm a little bit more in depth and I do a little more research. When I tell you people I don't put any time into that, it's bullshit. I put a lot of time into my research. I just don't care to admit it to y'all because you guys don't appreciate it. It's 30 views, I put all, whatever. Anyhow, this is just to show people that I'm not full of shit, and I do know what I'm talking about. They said for 10 years, China and India have been going at it. For 10 years. I knew this, but you people out there didn't know this, so I'm a fool. No, turn the mirror around.